This is Tameika Chambers-Pope, and this is my story, Unstoppable. Yes, my chapter 11, Seasons of Suddenly. I actually didn't decide to write that chapter. That chapter decided for me to write it. I was chosen, I didn't choose it. While I knew I was always going to be a writer, I did know that. I didn't know what story I was going to share, and I didn't know the timing. And so in the midst of my own season of suddenly, I feel like I got called to write this chapter. I was in a storm, I was depressed, I was crying, life was lifing. And then I got this great opportunity to write for the book, and I was like, there's no way I cannot do this. I have to write this chapter. It is calling me to do so, and I'm gonna answer the call. It's actually quite literally a season of something you're not prepared for. It can be good, it can be bad, it just is. So it isn't something that you're necessarily expecting. It might not even be something that you're wanting. Or maybe it is something that you're wanting and it just kind of falls in your lap. But it happens to be connected to our 4 seasons that we prepare for, right? Winter, spring, summer, fall, and then there's suddenly, which I do feel like we prepare for, we just don't know it. So we have foundationally like things in our lives that are happening from the time we are kids that are preparing us to be able to navigate suddenly seasons and suddenly moments and things that we're not expecting dropping into our universe, but we manage them. I've had so many seasons of suddenly. I feel like my whole life has been a big season of suddenly, from the time I was a child up until still now. So I think my first season of suddenly that I remember was actually a good one. I was in primary school and my school was doing a play, which happened to be Fame, and I loved that show. Debbie Allen and Jean Anthony Ray were like, every week I had to watch Fame. So I was like, an audition, why wouldn't I audition? Makes sense, I just want to be a background dancer and get off the stage. But what I ended up being was the choreographer. I ended up leading the main scene. I ended up singing. I couldn't sing, but I don't know how that happened, but somehow I was singing. So I ended up in a leadership role in primary school that I wasn't anticipating, wasn't expecting. I don't even think I asked for it. I think I just asked to be a part of something, and the universe said, well, you're gonna be a part of this. This is something bigger than you. I'm gonna decide for you where you land. I think my biggest adult season of suddenly, I've had some not so goods before that one, but that was the life-changing season of suddenly because it literally shifted my trajectory career-wise. So I went to college and I wanted to be a journalist. I'd had great internships. I worked for major networks. I had a lot of contacts, and at that time there was no social media and you had to send your resume out the old school way, right, which was mail it. And so I was mailing resumes to all these great companies and I just wasn't getting phone calls. I didn't know why. A friend of mine who was a recruiter at the time told me I should change my name. And she said Tameika was just such an identifying ethnic name, and that if they weren't looking for a black girl, which Tameika told them that I wasn't gonna get a phone call. So after being shocked, stunned, appalled, angry, all of the above, I actually did it. I changed the name on my resume to Tammy, didn't change anything else, just the first name. Sent my resume back out to some of those same companies and the phone started ringing. Changed my life. I had no idea at that time what a recruiter did. I just knew in that moment I was gonna be one. Shifted everything I wanted to do. I called my friend back and said, forget what I just went to school for. I'm willing to do whatever it is I need to do to now do what you do, because I refuse to let this happen to any other person. And so I changed my career path and got into recruiting, and that's all I wanted to do. That was it for me. I just wanted to stop name discrimination. I ended up being in that career field my entire career now, and have probably worked every job in the human capital space up to and including being the Chief Human Capital Officer, which I didn't see coming, right? The universe said to me, something bigger than yourself. You thought you were gonna be a recruiter? Lo and behold, we got some bigger plans for you. That season of suddenly set me on the path for what I'm doing today, because it showed me not only that my talents and skill sets were needed in lots of spaces, but that I needed to be a voice for those who didn't have one. So after I started telling my story, the number of people who came to me and said, oh, I have a similar story, Then there was a book about it in the 90s called Freakonomics. There's an entire chapter about name discrimination. All of this was after me experiencing what I had experienced. So I knew in that moment I needed to lend my voice so that others could feel free to share their voice. Oh my God, it was amazing. I had so much fun doing this book. And it's crazy because I shouldn't have. It was not a fun time, but I needed it. I needed to do this book. Because I was going through my own season of suddenly, I think this book saved me. After writing, which writing is therapeutic, but after writing and after connecting and after talking to so many people, being around Lisa, things shifted for me in a very positive way. It was important for me to do this book because I wanted to not only leave a legacy for my own family, I raised girls, that's important to me, but also because I feel like the moment was right. I feel like I had been asking and asking and asking for the universe, right, to give me something to hold on to that could show me and could validate that I am meant to write. I knew it a long time ago. I just hadn't done it. So for me, the moment in time was here and I just needed to walk through the door. I hope people read my chapter and feel hopeful at the end of it and feel validated in their journey. And know that every petal that falls to the ground enriches the soil. Know that everybody experiences seasons of suddenly. Know that in many ways we are built for it. It's adversity sometimes and we can get through it. Know that even though you're not thinking about it, preparing for it, you can do it. So I feel like, hopefully, I feel like what people will get from it is some hope. Getting to co-author this book with Lisa Nichols was amazing. It was beyond my wildest dreams, and it was an unforgettable experience. This is Tameika Chambers-Pope, and this is my story, Unstoppable.